Integrating Gharab Tzerek, returning to endurance. Desire is neither the problem nor the solution. It is movement. It is the life force that draws us toward what we value. Without desire, there would be no growth, no creativity, no service, and no transformation. Yet desire becomes fragmented whenever it loses its relationship with purpose. Some suppress their deepest aspirations through fear, disappointment, or the belief that their desires are unworthy. Others become consumed by endless striving, forever chasing fulfillment through achievement, acquisition, or recognition. Though these expressions appear opposite, they arise from the same fragmentation. One extinguishes the fire, the other allows the fire to burn without direction. Neither fully embodies Netzach. Integration begins when desire is no longer feared or worshipped. Instead, it becomes consciously aligned with truth. Passion becomes purpose, ambition becomes service, movement becomes meaningful. This is the restoration of Netzach, not endless striving, not passive resignation, but enduring devotion to what is worthy. Healing repression. When desire has been suppressed, life gradually becomes smaller. Dreams are abandoned before they are pursued. Purpose is replaced by routine. The individual begins believing that safety is preferable to possibility. Yet the longing never disappears, it quietly waits beneath the surface, reminding us that we were created not merely to survive, but to become. Healing begins by giving yourself permission to desire once again. Not every desire, the deepest ones, the ones that call you toward growth, contribution, and authenticity. Practices. Spend time asking yourself, if fear were no longer making this decision, what would I genuinely long to create? Write down dreams you have abandoned, not to judge yourself, to remember them. Take one small step each day towards something meaningful, however insignificant it may seem. Allow yourself to experience joy without believing it first must be earned. Reconnect with activities that awaken curiosity, creativity, and wonder. Purpose is rarely rediscovered through dramatic change. It is rediscovered through consistent movement toward what brings life. Healing possession. When desire becomes possessed, the pursuit itself becomes identity. Achievement replaces fulfillment, success replaces meaning. Rest becomes uncomfortable because worth has become dependent upon continual movement. The individual begins believing that peace exists just beyond the next accomplishment, yet every destination soon becomes another beginning. Healing begins by remembering that purpose is not measured by how much we accomplish. It is measured by the quality of consciousness we bring to what we accomplish. Practices. Practice slowing down. Before beginning a new pursuit, ask, what is this truly serving? Create moments of stillness without immediately filling them. Practice completing what already exists before pursuing something new. Celebrate progress without immediately moving the goal forward. Spend time serving others in ways that offer no recognition. Allow gratitude to interrupt the endless pursuit of more. Purpose grows deeper whenever achievement becomes an expression of being rather than a substitute for it. Integration. As both extremes gradually soften, desire begins returning to its natural place. The fire is no longer extinguished, neither is it allowed to burn without direction. It becomes steady. Purpose gradually replaces urgency. Devotion replaces obsession. Patience replaces restlessness. The desire to become is no longer driven by inadequacy. It is inspired by love. Life begins moving with intention rather than compulsion. Each step becomes meaningful because it reflects what truly matters. This is the return of Netzach, not ambition without rest, not peace without movement, but enduring movement aligned with truth. Recognition. As Gharab Tzerek begins to integrate, subtle changes naturally appear. You become less afraid of pursuing what matters. You become less attached to immediate results. Comparison gradually loses its influence. Stillness becomes restorative rather than uncomfortable. Purpose becomes clearer. Your energy feels more focused. You complete more because you pursue less. You become increasingly devoted rather than merely busy. Achievement no longer defines your worth. Neither does the absence of achievement diminish it. Your life gradually reflects intention rather than impulse. These are signs that Netzach is becoming embodied. Living expression. As Netzach becomes integrated, perseverance is no longer driven by fear. It is sustained by purpose. You become faithful to what is meaningful even when progress is slow. You create because creation itself becomes an act of service. You work without allowing work to become your identity. You rest without guilt because rest strengthens your capacity to continue. Your desires become increasingly aligned with your deepest values. Life no longer feels like an endless race toward fulfillment. It becomes a steady journey of embodying what matters most. Endurance is no longer measured by how long you can keep going. It is measured by your willingness to remain faithful to truth even when the path is difficult. This is the living expression of Netzach, the quiet strength to continue. Not because you must, but because your heart knows where it is going. Reflection. Take a quiet moment to reflect upon your relationship with desire. Ask yourself, which expression of Gharab Tzerek has shaped my life more deeply? Repression or possession? Which practices speak most directly to where I am today? What desires have I abandoned through fear? What pursuits no longer reflect my deepest values? Where am I confusing achievement with fulfillment? What is worthy of my devotion? If my life were guided by purpose rather than urgency, what would change? Purpose is not discovered by chasing everything. It is discovered by becoming faithful to what truly matters. Every conscious step taken in alignment with truth becomes an expression of enduring love.